Hey, stolen cousins. You already know what time it is. Let's get right into it. Some horror stories animated. Three true creepy Tinder stories. Stay off Tinder. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. We're family. You should already be subscribed, but if you're not, let's get on that, you guys. And let's just jump right into the video because what? Why not?
Last week, I broke up with my boyfriend, whom I dated for 3 years. Even though
Mm.
we weren't separated, I remained in touch
Joking,
with
we
him
seen
as a
that
friend.
one. What you doing?
Hi guys, my name is
What
Aria,
you doing?
and to be honest, I don't know how I'm alive to tell you the story I'm about to tell you. It all started on March 25th. My boyfriend had his birthday in 2 days, and even though our relationship
Just kidding, guys. We already seen that one. So three scary true highway horror stories. Um, should I tag that one and this one? I mean, this is highway. I already have a dash cam. You guys gotta go find it on your own. I'm sorry. I love you. Mm-mm. Let's get into it.
Hi guys, my name is Aria, and to be
Hey,
honest,
Aria.
I don't know how I'm alive to tell you the story I'm about to tell you. It all started on March 25th. My boyfriend had his birthday in 2 days, and even though our relationship was really rocky, I was looking for something to give him as a present. To be honest, we both argued a lot, and this could be a great opportunity to fix things. So, I had to give him a big gift. I searched high and low on the internet for someone selling his favorite Spider-Man action figure, until, with a lot of effort, I found someone who was selling it. This person was a childhood friend of mine, someone I knew who collected Marvel figures and sold as many as he could. I went into my friend's house and he quickly showed me the figure. It was beautiful. I'm sure Tom, my boyfriend, was going to love it. I stayed there having coffee with my friend and catching up with him, and after a few hours, I went back to my house.
Is that
He couldn't have
Tom?
known where I was, or he would find out what I was going to give him. After that day, Tom spoke to me surprisingly less, but when his birthday came, he picked me up in his car to go to lunch with his family for his birthday. We hadn't dated in a long time, and his family lived far away, so this would be the first time I would meet her. You can imagine how nervous I was. What
Did
I
you bring the
imagined at the
present?
time was that I would never actually get to meet her because her family had died years ago. I still remember how that day, Tom had a smile from ear to ear. It was almost Machiavellian, but I could tell he was nervous and angry about something. I asked him what was wrong, but he just said he was nervous because he was going to meet his family, and I innocently believed him. As soon as I got into the car, I noticed that he didn't say a word to me or look at me. He was absorbed, and his head was somewhere else. Hey, tell me, what are you thinking about? Something is clearly happening.
I told you nothing. Can't you be a little more patient?
Then something is happening. If you tell me to be patient, it's because something is about to happen.
Just be patient, okay? I have a surprise for you.
A surprise for me? It's your birthday, not mine. From that moment on, Tom left me to answer. I was a little uncomfortable after that talk. I felt the surprise couldn't be good, but I decided to give him a chance. Anyway, it's not like he was planning to kill me or anything. Or at least, that's what I thought at the time. Tom's car started going faster and faster toward the highway. I knew his parents lived in that direction, so I didn't suspect anything strange. When we got on the freeway is when the weirdness really started to happen. Tom started to speed up more and more, until after a few minutes, he was over the limit. I started to get worried and let him know, but he just ignored me. After a few seconds that felt like hours, he began to answer me. Hey, seriously, what's wrong with you? You're going too fast. We might have an accident.
Aria, I know you met with a man a few days ago.
What? What are you talking about? Have you been following me?
So you recognize him? Well, it didn't make sense for you to lie either. Yes, I've been following you. If I'm suspicious of you, it's obvious I'm going to have to make sure you're not up to something weird. And I don't regret it. From what I saw, I was right.
What the hell is wrong with you? That was just a friend. I was buying your birthday present from him. Angrily, Tom put his hand on my neck and looked at me in a defiant manner.
Don't even think of using my birthday as an excuse. It's enough that you've already betrayed me.
But I'm telling you the truth.
Every word you say makes me sick. I'm more and more satisfied with my decision.
Decision? What are you talking about?
You should try to put on your seatbelt as I did, my dear.
Suddenly, Tom turned the car around and started driving down the freeway on the wrong side of the road. All the cars barely managed to avoid him. Luckily, there were very few people, but still, it was only a matter of time before an accident happened, as Tom increased his speed more and more. Stop the car now! What the hell is wrong with you? Have you gone crazy? Tom didn't answer me and just kept driving with a psycho face I have never seen since I've known him. I tried to put on my seatbelt before it flew out the window, but to my surprise, it was gone. Someone had cut it off.
Oh, it looks like you don't have a seatbelt. A real shame. But you know what? You deserve it. Only good people like me deserve to live.
You're a psycho! Stop the car! You won't survive either. It's just a belt.
Well, we'll see about that. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll be alive to find out. If you're a kid with a car in front of you, you'll be thrown out of the window for sure. Your head will smash against the glass, and then you'll hit the other car and go straight into the pavement. I have my seatbelt and airbag to protect me.
Why are you doing this to me? I have never been with anyone else. I just wanted you to have a good time today.
Lies. All women are just as treacherous. You were only with me because you just met me. Surely you were already bored with me and you started dating your friend, right?
I swear, I didn't.
I hate liars.
Violently, Tom moved his car and crashed it into my side with another car. The glass in my window shattered and hurt my arm. Tom lost a little control but quickly regained it.
It hurts, doesn't it? You know what? This is love. This is the price of betrayal.
It's not.
I've been following you for as long as I've known you. I always knew you were up to something weird. But you know what? You're mine. And when a toy of mine is defective, I throw it away.
With that said, Tom accelerated to crash into a truck. This time, it was going to happen. The truck showed no signs of evading my boyfriend's car. I had to do something or I would surely die. In an act of impulsivity, I grabbed Tom's steering wheel and swerved the car to the side. We crashed into a fence and fell down a small ravine, straight into the river. Water began to pour into the car through my broken glass. Tom seemed to have passed out, so I took that moment to swim through the broken car window and escape. But suddenly, Tom grabbed my foot. His gaze was full of anger. This man wasn't interested in saving himself. He just wanted to kill me. As he grabbed my foot, I started to run out of air, and to make it worse, a part of my body was still going through the broken window of the car, and I still had the glass embedded in my skin. Every time my body hit the car, I could feel those little pieces of glass penetrate my skin even further. In my defense, I kicked Tom in the face as hard as I could, and on my third kick, he let go of me. And so I took the opportunity to swim away. As I did so, I could see Tom stretching his arms out to catch me, while the car was sinking deeper and deeper. Tom never made it out of the car. Ironically, it was the seatbelt that doomed him. But then again, he couldn't swim. Nearly drowning, I managed to get out and breathe.
Two whammies, that's
And when the
crazy.
police rescued me, I told them everything. There was no trial, and no one questioned what happened to me. It turns out that Tom wasn't really Tom. His name was Francis, and he was a wanted criminal for murdering his entire family. That's why he lived so far away from her. From that day on, I could never trust again. I know that many people are actually good, and not all of them will want to kill me, but I have to go through a very big healing process. Every time someone approaches me,
Don't trust him.
I see
That's
Tom
Ethan.
reflected in their eyes,
Don't
and I
trust
feel
Ethan.
that no matter how good the other person is, they are hiding a serial killer inside them.
Yeah, that's Ethan. Ethan's crazy.
A few years back, when I was about 16 years old, I and my family, which consisted of my 2 elder siblings and my parents, drove home from Mexico to Texas. My mom is Mexican, so some of her relatives still live there. Her part of the family is a bit more religious than our relatives in Texas, so we made it a point to go to Mexico at least twice a year. One of my older brothers, Dylan, hates planes, so we usually complete the journey by road in our car. For years now, we start the trip in the morning, stay in a motel for the night, and complete the rest of the journey the next day. However, on this particular trip, Dad had received a call from his workspace that he was needed at work due to an emergency. So, we decided to complete the 12-hour trip as fast as possible, which meant no overnight stops. We started our journey at 4 in the afternoon, and were planning to reach home around 6 a.m. the next day so Dad could make it to his office on time. As Dad drove for hours, we were all getting pretty tired. Although our SUV is quite spacious, sitting in it for so long was uncomfortable, and everyone was agitated, especially me, who was cramped between my 2 elder brothers who almost took most of the back seat. Around 9 p.m., we stopped at a gas station to fill up the tank, and then at a diner a few miles ahead to grab a quick bite. Around 11:30 p.m., we all had enough. Dad finally declared,
Guys, I know we're here right now because of me, but I don't think we should be on the road right now. I'm super tired, and I don't want to fall asleep behind the wheel and put your lives in danger.
Smart.
I think we should stop at the next motel we come across.
Everyone was delighted upon hearing this, as we all had been on the road for too long. As Dad drove a few more miles, we did not come across any motel. So eventually, the tiredness got the best of us all, and we decided to park our car beside the highway in a suitable spot and sleep for a while. Even though the thought of sleeping in a car cramped up between my brothers wasn't ideal, at that point, I was willing to take anything over the constant travel. As we found a suitable spot, Dad parked the car and said,
Guys, lock the door and shut the windows. I'll keep the air conditioning on in the car, and we'll nap for a few hours before we hit the road again.
With that said, in a few minutes, we were all out. The time was about midnight. Suddenly, I woke up due to a loud noise right beside my ear. That's when I realized one of my brothers was laying across my lap, and the other had rested his head on my shoulder and was snoring loudly. Everyone was still fast asleep. However, now I was awake. At first, I tried to get some more sleep, but as the minutes passed, it was clear that I was no longer sleepy. I somehow managed to untangle myself from my brothers and check the time. It was around 2:15 a.m., which meant we were all asleep for more than 2 hours. I sat in the car and played some games on my cell phone, but it soon ran out of battery. That's when I noticed how pitch black it was outside. As the curious kid, I decided to do the most childish thing you could ever imagine. I grabbed my backpack, fetched a small flashlight, and scooted as close to the window as I could, given the fact that my 2 brothers were on either side of me.
Just stay in the
I
car.
pressed my face against the window and started looking out with the light of my flashlight. In the beginning, I saw nothing more than the highway, some trees, and a field around me. As my eyes got used to seeing in the dark, I started to see more details. That's when I saw something move beside a tree a few feet away from us. I brushed it off as an animal and continued exploring through the window. When I looked at the spot again, this time, I could see a silhouette of a tall man standing right beside the same tree. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me, as the man was as still as the tree trunk itself. So it was possible that it could be a dead tree shaped roughly like a human, and my over-imaginative mind was conjuring up all the rest. Just then, the man who I had almost concluded to be a dead tree trunk moved and hid behind the tree beside him. This was a shock to me. This meant I wasn't seeing things. I switched off my flashlight, but kept staring out the window in the direction of the tree. A few minutes passed, and the man peeked at our car from behind the tree. This time, though, I had no flashlight, so he might have thought that I was asleep. He then emerged fully from his hiding spot and kept staring at our car. I kept looking at him too. That's when I noticed that his eyes were red, and they were glowing in the dark and staring directly at me. This scared the shit out of me. I had no idea what I should do, so I decided to do the most obvious thing a kid would do. I pulled my brother's leather jacket over my head and hid between them. I did not move more to make a single sound until eventually I fell asleep. A few hours later, I woke up sore from being cramped in between my brothers for so long. As soon as I opened my eyes, a few sun rays hit me square in the face. A very beautiful sunrise was about to happen right beyond the field. However, my brothers and my parents were out of the car inspecting it. This made me curious, so I got out too. The sight I saw shocked me to my core. All over the car, there were muddy handprints, and on the windows and windshields, there were impressions of faces being pressed against them, as if someone was peeking into the car from outside not long ago. This terrified us all, and we decided to drive home and get the hell out of that area as soon as possible. I did not speak a single word about the man I had seen during the rest of the car ride. But after a few days, when we were all discussing how we had put ourselves in a risky position by napping in our car on a highway, I could not hold back. I narrated the whole incident to my family, and this information terrified them even more. We just happened to be lucky that the man, or maybe the men, did not attack us or harm us in any way. But from then on, we decided to visit Mexico by plane and not by road. Moreover, Dad tried to dig into the matter by researching on the internet if a similar incident was reported,
You just gotta
but
stop at the
found nothing
hotels
as
like you've
such.
been doing.
However, some people claim that what we encountered were field spirits. These are spirits of ancestors of the farmers who own the field, and these spirits protect the fields from intruders or whoever tries to damage the crops. As we were practically parked on the land that belonged to the field, these spirits may have perceived us as threats, but when they realized we meant no harm to them or their fields, they left us alone. Protectors or not, this experience was truly horrific, and I will never travel on that road again.
Do you even know what road it was?
It happened on the 25th of November, 2007. A day I can never forget. It was around 1 in the morning, and I was on the highway. Now, I'd probably driven past this highway 1,000 times, as my time as a truck driver always saw me using this route. But that night was different, and I could tell that something was very wrong. I started my journey by 8 p.m. on that fateful day, and I was supposed to deliver a massive crate of soft drinks to the nearest warehouse that was located on the outskirts of town. After the truck was loaded up, I quickly began my journey, and on my way to the warehouse, all I could think about was Susie, my 9-year-old daughter whom I'd left at home. It had been really hard for us since her mother...
So, I already did that story. in another highway video. So, I'll tag that one because it makes, it makes sense. So you guys can see that and watch the rest of the story. See what goes on with this man and everything. Just because I already sit through it, so you're not going to get, a good reaction because I already seen it. But thank you guys. I love you guys. I will tag the video. That way you can see what happened to the story. I promise. I hope you guys enjoyed the other two stories. I know I did. It was a little crazy. But thank you. Bye.